This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, good evening. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Okay, so I'm also sharing my screen. Can one of you please confirm if my screen share is visible?
Yes, it's visible, Kiran.
Okay, okay. Still have a couple of participants joining, but I think we can get started. So on the screen, I'm just projecting the course curriculum, which Isha team has already shared with you guys over the WhatsApp. So I'll give a quick introduction about my profile. So my name is Kiran, and obviously I'm your trainer for API testing using Postman tool. I have close to 18 years experience in the software testing industry and have been doing corporate trainings from nearly 15 years. Most of the times I train corporates across India and outside India. And in the evenings and early mornings, I do public batches the way I'm doing right now. Coming to my areas of expertise, I train, corporates and employees, students across multiple automation areas. So I deal with front-end automation using Selenium, Catalan Studio, QTP, then back-end automation using tools like Postman, uh, another tools like SOAP API tool, SOAP UI tool, Ready API tool, Catalan Studio tool. I also do performance testing trainings using Jmeter, Gatling, or LoadRunner. And on security testing, also I do programs using Burp Suite and Zap tools. I also do on the DevOps side with tools like Git, GitHub, GitLab, Jenkins, Bitbucket, and so forth. That's a quick introduction about myself. And on the website, we have given a small video where you can probably go through our previous demo classes. And we have also given the course curriculum here, which you guys can definitely go through it here. The entire course syllabus is available here. So in the interest of ensuring that every participant understands what do they get when they enroll in this course, we have clearly written a detailed course syllabus on the website, which you are seeing right now, and have divided this entire curriculum into multiple chapters. So if I scroll down quickly, I think we have almost 10 chapters or so. Yeah, so total we have 13 chapters if you see. Okay. And this training happens to be practical training with less theory. So theory will be around 10%, and 90% of the training is towards practical training. Okay. And in this training, we are going to learn and discuss about REST APIs, SOAP APIs, how to do automation testing of these APIs using Postman tool by writing JavaScripts and by verifying the responses that we get from the server by using the JavaScripts. We'll also integrate this Postman automation with tools like Newman framework, where we can generate some nice HTML test reports, JSON test reports, XML test reports, or a CSV test report, or a CLI test report. So I'll use a small, probably a document to write the notes. I think I'm still audible and my screen share is visible, right? There is no network issues that you are facing, right?
Yes, Kiran.
Yeah. So since today is a demo class, I would like to give a quick overall update of what's going to happen in this course. So we are going to learn API automation testing in this course. So this is the main course thing. And the tool that we are going to use is Postman tool. And this tool is free, it's open source. And coming to the types of APIs we are going to learn about REST APIs and also SOAP APIs. Okay. And coming to the programming language that we use in this is JavaScript. Again, you don't have to be familiar learning JavaScript and joining because the JavaScripts are already available in the Postman tool, so we can pick them and reuse it. And Coming to the framework that we use in this tool is obviously Postman framework we use, JavaScripts we use, and then a third party framework from Postman called a Newman also we use. So this is the framework setup that we are going to do in this particular course. Okay, and please also utilize today's class to clarify your questions if there are any. And whatever we are discussing in this training, the classes, everyday class will be recorded and it will be shared to you via email, and it will be on YouTube in our channel only for the participants who have enrolled. And coming to the training material, I will be sharing it via Google Drive. Coming to the type of notes I'm going to give you, this is how the notes look like. So I'll just show you sample. How does the notes, training notes look like? I'm going to show you. So this is how the notes look like. Whatever project work we are creating, it will be available here. And whatever test data we prepare, test results, and the training material, all the notes will be here. And this is the final automation notes that I'm going to share with you, which is a document that I have prepared. I have prepared this for every training batch, and you get here detailed diagrams on the notes. All these things will be shared with you towards the end of the training. So you get access to this particular folder that you're currently seeing. Okay. So you don't have to worry about the notes. You don't have to worry about the classes. The classes are getting recorded. Even today's class is getting recorded. So you can listen to it one more time, and probably listening to the class again and again will give you that confidence in understanding the the subject and the topic that we are going to discuss. And like I said, this course is 10% theory and 90% practical. Okay. Why theory and why 10%? It could be less or more according to you. This theory is going to be the foundation for the entire training program. And this theory will help you not only in API testing. Whatever theory I'm going to teach, it helps whether you are a manual tester or an automation tester or a performance tester or a security test engineer. So the theory I'm going to talk is general, and that is going to help in all your specialties of testing. Of course, it helps in our course also. That's why I'm teaching that API automation testing. Certain things which you are not aware of, that's what I'm going to teach in the theoretical subjects, where I have the course curriculum clearly told here. So chapter 1, where we discuss about the basics of APIs, the introduction towards API, client and server architecture, that's a theory topic. Then the evolution of APIs, the classification, the types of APIs is also theoretical topic. And chapter 3 is, how do you create a test plan, a test case, and testing techniques. That's also theory. Chapter 4 onwards, it is going to be practical training until we close the training program. Okay. So without further things, I think we can get started with the day 1 class. But before I start, do you guys have any questions to me so that I can answer them first?
So, Kiran,
Yes.
what is the duration for this course? Means how long it will take?
Yeah, good question. I think I should have written it here. So the duration of the course will be around 1 month, and we do trainings Monday to Friday, which means roughly, this will be around some 26 hours, I would say, meaning 26 classes. Here and there, it will not be exactly 26. It can be 27, 28, 25 also, depending on how fast we discuss and how well, we align as a team together. So this is the average duration, 1 month, you can say.
Understood. Thank you.
So which obviously means, so ignore February. We are almost on towards the end of it. So probably by 31st of March we would be able to complete it. If not, then probably in the first week of April we'll be able to complete it, but not beyond that, because there are certain students who also wanted this to be completed at the earliest. so that they can apply in their projects and they can apply for certain jobs and interviews. Yeah. Any other questions, guys, that you have?
And Kiran, if we miss some class, so we'll be able to connect with you personally, or can we take some additional time if we require?
Yeah. So when you miss a class, there are multiple solutions for that. One, you will get access to the recorded videos on a daily basis. Whether you attend it or not, you still get access to the recorded videos if you are a confirmed participant. So you can go through the class again after you, since you missed it, and then you can discuss about that missed class if you have any questions in the next day. So every day in the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes, usually I allocate for Q&A session, questions and answers. So utilize that time to discuss about your challenges that you are facing, understanding the course or understanding the topic. Otherwise, we also have a WhatsApp group, right? We can also post your question. I mean, you can post the questions in the WhatsApp group, and I can answer those questions in the WhatsApp as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. How about rest of the folks? Any questions?
What would be the timing for the class?
The timing should be the same timing, the way I'm doing right now. So Indian timings, 9 p.m. IST to 10 p.m., 1 hour every day. It starts at the same time, Johnny, 9 p.m. Indian Standard Timings, IST.
Yeah, so basically the timing which is set right now, 3:30. I mean 9 o'clock in India. It's basically half basically midday in the UK. So do you have any other
Okay.
timing? Like if you starts in the afternoon, then it's going to be in the morning for us.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
in the midday, basically, it's really impossible to come out of anything you are doing. Either you will be at work or you will be doing something else. So it's really not easy pull off something and then come to and join the class. So this is really not suitable for me. Do you have any options that you can run a session so I can attend the class in the morning?
Okay. Your morning, right? So I'll have to work on the time zone conversions and see what slot actually works for you and me.
Or is there
So
is there anyone I can discuss about it after this webinar?
yes.
Or
Yes, definitely you can discuss. Are you in touch with Kumar or Anita from our team?
can they ping me so I can directly contact them?
Definitely. I will have them talk to you over WhatsApp or some channel, and they'll be able to guide you for sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this. Okay. And how about others? Like any questions? Like let's say Shilpa, you have any questions? Samir, Kiran, Sunita, Vinayak, Mohan, Kaveri, Srilata. Any questions that you have? Feel free to unmute. And any general questions I'm saying, like Johnny has some questions on the timings. You guys have any questions or all good?
And we have about 200 and something people in this group. I mean, in this session. So how many people will be attending in one session?
No, we have only 12 participants right now, not 200, 12.
Okay, because when it's like more than expected amount of people, like 40, 50, then the class gets very noisy and the connection keeps dropping. Because I have
Hmm.
seen that similar classes before, and it's when the sequence breaks, it really gets out of hand and the learning gets affected.
Absolutely, that's true. That's true. So what we ensure is we and our team ensure that per batch we have like maximum 15 participants. We don't encourage
Mhm.
more than 15 participants. And if in case if there are more students enrolling, we have a separate batch that we start so that we
So,
distribute the students into multiple batches. So we will not encourage like 20, 30 participants in a single batch
so is
because
there anything you can do about the timing? Because like I explained, so I have to take completely 1 month off to continue this course. Like You are attending the class. The time is basically midday for us. I would not be able to go to work at all for 1 month. So
Yeah, I
what can we
understand.
do about this?
Yeah, I think changing the, I mean, we'll have to figure out another timing for you. So I'll have to get the similar feedback from others and see what timing works. And obviously,
Hmm.
democracy wins. So if there are a couple of participants willing to have at a different time slot,
Hmm.
Isha team will be, working out on the timings strategy. So we will
Hmm.
definitely get back to you on the timings. I'll have one of our team member contact you and probably figure it out how this timing can be sorted out. That works in the favor of participants.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So sounds good. So what we'll do right now is we'll get started with chapter one, which is introduction towards API basics, right? So I
Even
won't
your
be using. Yeah.
voice is breaking sometimes. Couldn't
Oh, is it for everyone or it's for few people?
It's
Yeah.
clear,
Is,
sir.
is it better?
Not
Is it
not
better
for
anyway?
me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So maybe it could be a small network glitch either on your side or my side. That could probably be an issue. And anytime my audio or video has a disturbance, feel free to post a message on the chat, or you can unmute and just convey the message that I'm pretty much not audible or the screen share has a disruption. Because network, I could see that the network is I'm IC4. The strength is 4, so I think that's probably good for me. Okay, so what we'll do is we will just talk a little bit about the basics of API today. I don't get into too much of advanced right on day one and day two. The basics we will discuss. Basics of API. First, we need to understand what is the full form for API and the definition for API. So API stands for Application Programming Interface. That is the abbreviation given for API. And coming to the definition of it, I'll write the definition, then I'll give a diagram and try to convert my definition into a diagram and explain it so that it becomes easier for you to understand the definition of API. So I will say an API is an interface or a component developed to enable data transfer across multiple modules in an enterprise application. So that is the definition of an API. Now this definition probably looks little difficult, but let me put it in the form of a diagram so it becomes little easier for us. So I've taken my Paint application and let's think of a small software application. So I'll say this is a software. Assume that this is a software. And inside this software, let's say that there are 4 modules. Module 1, let's say module 2, and let's say module 3, and let's say module 4. Okay, we can take even 10 modules, but for the sake of simplicity and understanding, I have taken 4 modules. And let's say that the first module is login module that you see in most of the applications. And there is another module, let's call it as logout module. And let's talk about another module called add items to shopping cart. And let's say the last option is make payments. And let us say this application that we are talking about is something like https://www.amazon.in. Okay, so assume that you have browsed on your browser Amazon e-commerce application, amazon.co.uk or amazon.com or amazon.in, and I'll just talk about these 4 modules. We all know that unless you log in, you cannot log out, right? And unless you log in, you cannot make a payment, right? If you go to any e-commerce application which is available online, whether you are booking a movie ticket or buying something online, such as buying a grocery or buying some shopping items or buying food online, you have to make online payment. And for us to make online payment, login is mandatory because the server or the database has to know what is your address, where it has to be shipped, whether your default payment is a credit card or a UPI payment or a debit card or pay later option, or it could be internet banking or something else. So we know that to make a payment, login is mandatory, and to log out, login is also mandatory. However, if I come to the second module, which is add items to shopping cart, it's not mandatory that you have to log in, right? So if you go to this Amazon.in on my computer, I'm going to Amazon.in, and you see here I'm not signed in yet. I'm a guest user, but you see I'm able to browse happily. I'm able to click on some cameras that I'm interested. Let's say this one, and I click on something, and here I can click on add to cart. You see, I'm not logged in. When I click on add to cart, so it says added to cart. And here I can see in the shopping cart, one is there and this item is available in the shopping cart. Okay, let me delete the item from the shopping cart. So this example proves that you don't have to be logged in to add items to shopping cart, right? So here I will write down some points. One, logout module is dependent on login module, right? Which means unless you log in, you cannot log out. So I will say logout depends on login. Similarly, payments module depends on login module, because if you don't log in, you cannot make a payment. You can try it out on any of the e-commerce applications. Then add to shopping cart is independent of login module, right? This is obviously independent. Without logging in, you are able to browse. Whereas these two modules are mandatory for you to log in, right? Example, again, if you want to see that process, if I take you to Amazon.in, and let's say I click on any of these phones, I'm not logged in if you see, but I can still add this item to shopping cart, add to cart, and you see it says added to cart. And when I want to buy it, right? See, when I click on this buy now button, which is like making a payment, it's asking me to sign in, because payments module or buying process is directly proportional to the login process. If you have not logged in, you cannot make a payment. That's how most of the e-commerce applications have been designed. And that's what I have written here, right? Now that this logic we have it, the developer who is designing this application, what they do is, whenever the user clicks on logout button, this logout button is dependent on login. So it will make a function call to the login module and says, hey, looks like the current user wanted to log out. So please tell me, has he earlier logged in or had he earlier logged in? And the login module says, well, let me check in my database whether this user is currently logged in or not. After that, the login module gives back a response to the logout module and says, yeah, looks like the current user is logged in. You can probably log him out. Then the application will be logging the user out. As a user, when you click on logout, you are logged out. That is what you and I know. But technically speaking, when you click on logout button is making a function call. Okay, it is making a function call. And this function call is like sending a question to the login module saying, is the current user called Kiran still logged in or he never logged in? And login module gives an appropriate answer by checking with the database that yes, Kiran is logged in or Kiran is not logged in. And if the answer is yes, Kiran is logged in, the logout module will kick my user session out and I will be logged out. Similarly, when I click on make a payments module, make a payments also will check with login because it is dependent on login. So it will ask login module a question or a request it will send through a function call and says, did the current user logged in because he wanted to make a payment? Again, this will go and check with the database and gives back a response to make a payments module and says that, yeah, Kiran is logged in. So now make a payment says, okay, Kiran is logged in, good. At the same time, make a payment will also make another function call to add items to shopping cart, because you cannot make a payment if the shopping cart is empty or if your basket is empty. So make a payment will make another API call or another function call to add items to shopping cart and says, hey, the current user is logged in, but did he or she added any items to the shopping cart? This will also check with the database and gives back a response. Probably it says that, hey, he has added 2 items in the shopping cart. Then the make a payments module will route my user to the payment page of the bank where the user can make a payment. So here, when you are clicking on logout button or make a payments button, you see so much of transactions are happening in the software application. And these transactions are nothing but function calls. Every function call has a request going and a response coming, right? So this is the request it is going. And finally, I'm also getting a response that items added in the shopping cart is 1 item or 2 items. Now the biggest question is how these modules are talking to each other. What is the technology that is helping logout and login to talk? What is the technology that is helping make a payments and login module or make a payments and add items to shopping cart talk to each other? The answer is API, Application Programming Interface. So all these pink lines, purple lines or blue lines is where the API calls are happening. So the request that is going from logout to login is a API request. The response coming from login to logout is an API response. The request going from make a payments to add items to shopping cart is an API request. The response coming from shopping cart to make a payments is also API response. So the technology developers use to make these modules communicate with each other, talk to each other, or exchange the data is called API technology. And that is the definition I have written here. See, an API is a component developed to enable data transfer. So are we transferring the data by sending a request and receiving the response? Yes. And this data transfer is happening across multiple modules. Are these modules talking to each other? Like login and make a payments is talking, logout and login is talking, shopping cart and make a payments is talking. Yes. And all these modules are present where in a software project which we call it as enterprise application. And that enterprise application is nothing but this Amazon.in application right now in my example. So this is the explanation I have to make clear to you the definition of an API. Is this clear, guys, to everyone? What is an API? Please read the definition and look at the diagram. Let me know if you still need explanation. But do let me know, is it clear or not yet?
So paragraph icon. So once you click what you do, you see there is an option here. API. Just select it.
Guys, if you're speaking to me, be a little bit loud or...
Key. Once you do it, there will be only one page. If you see here, there is only page 1 of 1. Once course will be hidden.
Is this clear to everyone?
Go to view.
Johnny, you can go on mute, please, as you're speaking to someone. Guys, I need some acknowledgements. No silence, please. Clear or unclear?
Yes, yes, clear, sir. Clear.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yeah. So unless you acknowledge, I would not know whether I'm still audible or I'm disconnected. So that's how I define an API, and diagrammatically, this is an evidence how APIs are actually there in the place. Now let me try to answer, or let me try to put a second question and a second answer. See, right now I'm talking to you and I'm communicating with you, and you are also communicating with me. And we are using English as the mode of communication between us. Because probably we are all comfortable speaking in English, as there are different people across the cities and countries joining this demo class. So I feel English is the best medium for communication. The same question if I apply in my diagram. Logout is talking to login through API. But what language are they using? Are they using English or Spanish or some French or some Hindi? How do we know that? So the answer is, software applications, they don't talk in the languages that we talk, right? So there has to be different languages that these applications use. So when it comes to API technology, one second. Yeah. So when it comes to APIs technology, these applications they use, I will write it down here. So APIs uses data descriptive languages to communicate across multiple modules. So what is this descriptive languages? So that also I'm going to write it, such as, so APIs can talk to each other in text format, or they can talk to each other in HTML format, or they can talk to each other in XML format, or they can talk to each other in JSON format. And like this, there are so many technologies. There is one more technology called YAML, etc. I will say. So these are the different languages or data descriptive formats that APIs can use to communicate with each other, which means login and logout can talk to each other in text format or HTML or one of these things. Now, text format is something which is pretty much outdated. No developer today uses text format. I would say it is not 100% outdated, but 99% outdated technology. If you pick up any software enterprise application, the developers won't be using text format to transfer the data from one module to another module, because text is very unsecured and very outdated. And coming to HTML format, this is also 90% outdated. Okay, these technologies were used like 20 years before and 15 years before, but not today. Because again, HTML is also pretty much outdated when it comes to transferring the data. When it comes to XML, it is 80% outdated technology, but still 20% companies are using it today. Okay, and when it comes to JSON, it is 100% usage. Meaning today, or from the last 10 years, all the developers across all the organizations for different projects in the world, they use JSON as the communication format to send the data from one module to another module. And YAML is another format that's gaining momentum these days. YAML is also being used. I would probably say 50% is the usage as of now, because it's a little newer technology as compared to JSON format. Now, if you are interested to know how this format looks like, I can write a small example here. So if you talk about a text format, it's a free format. That is, there is no syntax associated if you're writing, text format. Guys, are you all clear until this point?
Yes. Yes, Kiran.
Yeah. Give me just 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'm clear. Give me 1 second. I have to mute myself. Guys, I'm sorry about that. I'm back. Am I still audible? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kiran.
So we are talking about these different formats, right? So if you're interested to know how this format looks, I'll just give a simple example so that there will be no confusion to you. Text format has no rules, no syntaxes, no structures. It can follow any format. So if you want an example of text format, and let's say I wanted to write something like the trainer name is Kiran and he's teaching API testing. I can write it in any format. I mean, I can write something like this. The trainer name is Kiran. I can write in the next line. There is no problem if I write it, and I can say, and he's teaching Postman tool for API testing. So you see, I'm not following proper syntax. I mean, in general English, I'm speaking. I'm writing few lines in line one, few things in line two, few things in line three, line four, line five. Because text format says that I don't have any rules that you have to write something like this. Okay, so text format is a free format. You don't have to follow any rules and regulations. That's how text format is there. And if you want an example of HTML format, right? So I'll say example for HTML format. Usually HTML format always starts with a tag like HTML, and every tag you open has to be closed with a forward slash. And in between you can write anything. So something you will have like a body, and then you can write like this. Uh, and then I can also write something like heading. So there are a lot of tags available in HTML format, and in heading I can probably say my name is Kiran. This will be in heading 1. So I can say heading 1, meaning it will come in very, very big text. And I'll just copy this. I'll paste it. And I will say here heading 2, which means a lesser font size. And it will say, I am teaching API testing using Postman 2. So this is how the format looks like for HTML. So usually you will have something like, whenever you see the tag HTML, it's a clue for you that the syntax used by developer is HTML code. Okay, you don't have to remember all these things. I'm just giving you examples only. And let's say finally you wanted example for XML format. I'll just copy the same thing. Okay, I'll copy the same thing. I'll paste it. In the place of HTML, you will see XML here. That's the only difference. So here, if you see XML and the tag closing is also XML, then that's called as an XML code written by developer to transfer the data from one module to another module. And finally, what is important is this JSON format. That's what most of the APIs are using these days. So coming to JSON format, first of all, we should know what is JSON full form. So the full form is JavaScript Object Notation, and JSON follows key value pair structure. What is key and value? Key is like name, value is like Kiran, because my name is Kiran. Key is like course, and the value is API testing. Key is like automation tool name, and the value is Postman. Key is like timing, value is 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Right? Something like that. It follows a key and value, and the syntax is it starts with a flower bracket and it ends with a flower bracket, and in between you will have key in double quotations, then a value, and if you have one more key, again a comma will be there, and you will write one more key like this, and this continues depending on how many keys you have. If you want to write 20 keys, write 20 keys and 20 values. If you want one example, I can write something like name is Kiran, because my name is Kiran, the trainer name is Kiran, and course name that I'm teaching is API testing, and the tool type I'm teaching is Postman, right? And this is same as what I wrote here. My name is Kiran. I'm teaching API testing using Postman tool, but this comes like a shortcut, right? My name is Kiran is here, and the course I'm teaching is API testing using a tool called Postman. So here you can write anything, course name or just a course or tool type or just a tool. The key can be anything, the value can be anything. This is how you represent a JSON structure. So whenever you see a format like this, you have to keep in mind that, hey, this is following a JSON example. So developers will use these kind of formats whenever APIs are being used to transfer the data from one module to another module. So the same diagram, I can specify that the data transfer is happening in JSON format or XML format or HTML format or a text format, or probably if we are using some advanced ones, then even a YAML format can be there. So these are the different formats that a developer will use to transfer the data from one module to another module. Like I'm speaking to you in English, but at home I speak in some other language. And probably when I go abroad, I might speak in Spanish or I might speak in French, depending on the necessity, depending on the need of the hour. So developers also will choose one of these communication methodologies to transfer the data from one module to another module using APIs. Okay, so when I say APIs, the data transfer can happen in one of these formats. And most likely, we will always go for JSON only. We, in the sense, not me, the industry is going with JSON. Text format and HTML format are outdated formats. XML, few organizations are still using it. JSON, every organization is using it. And when it comes to YAML, few organizations are using it who wanted a better technology than JSON. Okay. So we discussed what is an API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. And the definition of an API is it will help you transfer the data from one module to another module, or it will send the data from one module to another module and receive the data from another module to current module. And while transferring the data from one module to another module, the data transfer, meaning the request and response, can be in text format or HTML format or XML format or JSON format or YAML format. And the syntax of these formats are given here just for reference purpose. You just go to google.com or Wikipedia and find a better example than this, but this is at a simple example that I would like to give it to you guys. Am I clear, guys, until this point?
Yes.
Okay. And do you guys have any other questions to ask? This is all I have for today's class, the small demo class that we had.
Hi Kiran, I joined a few minutes late to the session, so I just have few queries related to the course.
Okay, go ahead, Kaveri.
So I think the duration is 1 month for this course, right?
Yes.
And this course is related to automation, right? So currently, the Postman tool is evolved to like we can automate the scripts for while using the API testing as well. So like how is this framework and everything is now currently automating in Postman tool?
Okay. So using Postman tool, we can do manual testing of APIs and we can also do automation testing of APIs. And this course is teaching both manual testing of APIs and automation testing of APIs using Postman tool by writing the JavaScript inside the Postman tool.
Okay.
Yeah. And we will also use another framework called Newman to help us write some commands in the command prompt and generate HTML test report or a CSV test report or a JSON test report or an XML test report. So this course
Okay.
is not manual alone. It is both manual testing plus automation testing of APIs by writing JavaScript.
Okay. Okay. And mm, so what about the code repositories and how all those will be taught here in this course? like how we can
Okay,
maintain
how do
that.
I share? How do I share? Is that the question?
Share, or how can we like generate this automation framework or create end-to-end framework and maintain the repositories within the team, and such kind of information will be shared during the course.
Yes, yes, definitely. It is a part of the course. It will be shared. It will be practically done by me, and you will understand it.
Okay. But as far as I know, currently the for API automation, the rest assured we were using in our organization, and many of the testers are using those. But Postman, is it that currently Postman has offered this automation kind of framework, or is it there itself since it is started with Postman?
Okay, see, there are so many tools for doing automation testing. Rest Assured tool is also a good tool, but in Rest Assured, you have to write lot of code. The
Yeah.
entire thing in Rest Assured is 100% coding. You have to be a
Mhm.
Java developer to write automation in Rest Assured. Whereas in Postman, Postman has a user interface. So you don't have to write 100% code. Most of the code is given by Postman only. So you have to just configure the code in the Postman and make some changes and execute it.
Okay, so whatever we used to implement in Rest Assured, that will be implemented in Postman as well, and we can completely transfer from Rest Assured to Postman, right? For
Yes,
automation.
100% correct. 100% right.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys?
So course, I think the course has started, or are you? This is demo class, right?
Yeah, the classes will be on the same time, Monday to Friday, same time, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Indian Standard
Okay, so
Timings.
when are those going to start? I mean, just to confirm the registration and everything.
No, it started already. Today we call it as a demo class, but the classes started. This is class one, tomorrow class two, day after class three.
Okay.
So the batch started with today's class only.
Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Mm, none from my side. Thank you.
Good. How about others? Any questions that you have? Okay. If there are no more questions,
Hi,
uh,
I have a question for him.
yeah,
Can
yeah,
you
go
hear me?
ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the question I have is like, do you teach integration with Jenkins or Newman is good enough once we
If
write
the
all the stuff?
Yeah, we can. I mean, I teach even Jenkins integration on the Postman using Newman.
Okay,
I teach that
okay,
also. That's also part of the course.
okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for joining this demonstration class. We'll have the classes tomorrow as well. Please communicate back with the Isha team if you have any questions or have plans to discuss. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time and patience today. Good night.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night.